you are going to be able to honor whatever it is, whatever blessing, whatever gift, whatever goal that you achieve. You are going to give it the honor that it deserves because you know the sweat, the cries, the tears, the happiness, the sacrifices that came with that. And you can only be able to see that once you've actually endured. Hi, my lovelies. Welcome to another episode of Untwine with Naledi, where on this channel you will nourish. And on this channel, we also focus on topics relating to God, everything about your wellness of the mind, the body, the soul, and all things positivity. For today's topic, we are going to bring back positivity into persistence. Now, I know that is very much a challenge for a lot of us, but I also believe that it's something that's very much possible if you are at the right state of mind and you actually train your mind to actually think positively. Now, Google describes persistence as the fact of continuing in an opinion or course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. It also describes it as the continued or prolonged existence of something. Now, with persistence, I'd actually like to tag along the word endurance because in a lot of what you do when you're persisting, there's a lot of consistency that comes in, and a lot of the times, there's also a lot of endurance that one has to take in because you want to see yourself in the outcome of where you'd like to be. Now, in order to bring positivity into persistence, one thing that you have to do is that you actually have to start off by going back to the goals that you have written. So, to everybody that actually wrote down their goals for the year, this would be the time for you to revisit them. Actually, go back to tracking what it is that you're doing to ensure that you actually stay on track with that. Go back to seeing what are the habits that you are going through that right now it's something that you feel like is making you have a lag, meaning that it's taking you a little bit back instead of moving you forward. Now, listen, persistence is something that you can only become good at once you have gone through cycles of training yourself. So, don't be too hard on yourself if you're not at this point yet. The point is to not give up and to keep on pushing through every single obstacle, or just training your mind to become consistent by making it a daily practice for you to reach that greater you. And remember that there is no fixed way in which you should start. It is all about what is convenient to you and what works for you. But at the end of the day, what you should ensure when you take the time to reflect is to actually see whether what you have enforced is something that is bringing you closer to the goal that you want to reach. So, with persistence, there's a lot that one has to do. Going back to those goals, the goals that you had written down for the year, you need to go back and track how far you are with being consistent in maintaining those goals that you have set for yourself. If there's certain habits and traits that you've picked up that you know you don't like, this is where you need to go back and actually retrack your steps and actually see what it is that you can do to eliminate the things that are standing in the way of you getting to that better you. So, persistence is also something that has a big effect on the mind. So you may actually be finding that okay, you're very consistent with what you're doing and you are actually following track, but a lot of the times you are also at a state in which you're feeling demotivated a lot of the times. But that is the point in which you should actually be seeing that something is actually working, because a lot of the times when you start something or when you initiate something, it may always feel like this is actually getting to a point in which it is failing, or maybe this is not for me, or maybe this is something that I shouldn't be doing at this moment in time. But that is actually the moment in which you just need to pause, breathe, and start speaking positivity in your life. Speaking positivity in your life starts with those daily affirmations that you say to yourself, thinking about the things that you know will empower you, whether it's watching a video, whether it's listening to somebody, or having a conversation with somebody who you know shares the same motivation and enthusiasm in the goals that you want to set for yourself. And in dwelling into things that feed the positivity into you, that is when you'll be able to curb whatever negativity that may come your way. I mean, yes, there is always going to be that negative voice at the back of your head that is trying to deter you from where you're heading, but the only way you can be successful in overpowering that voice is by simply being consistent in what you are doing. Now, with persistence, the challenge comes in the fact that there are also other things, other factors that come into us being the best versions that we can be. And by this, I mean obstacles that come along the way of whatever it is that you're venturing into. And those obstacles may have been things that you had never prepared for to begin with when you were actually writing your goals, or it never even crossed your mind that something like this would happen. And that is why I would highly recommend that you actually write your goals down, because the moment you do that, you are able to go back to the why. You are able to reason the why of what it is that could give you that oomph to carry on moving. Because if you are starting on something and you don't know what it is that you'd like out of it, then you don't have a clear view and you don't have the right drive that is going to keep you moving. And with persisting comes a lot. They can be tests, they can be trials, they can be losses. Losses come in the form of many things. It can be in the form of losing family, losing friends along the way, making some poor decisions, but in the long run, that will actually be for the benefit, or making decisions in that point in time of choosing yourself, where when you choose yourself, sometimes there are certain people that will fall out of your life. And with all of that, there's going to be a lot of you asking yourself a lot of questions of whether there is something wrong with you, but that is when everything is actually coming back into alignment. I'd like to believe that when you are setting these goals, you're also putting prayer into it. And the more you dwell into your prayer of getting these things, that is when you start to shape your mind into thinking positively. You start to prepare yourself for what the Lord has in store for you. You start to think differently. You start to become what it is that you see yourself becoming in the future, and you practice that on a daily. And the more you do that, the more you'll actually realize those patterns that were moving you back, those habits will start to become a threat to your positive journey that you are taking. And that is when you have to apply the wisdom to know that whatever it is that you are venturing into is going to work for the greater good, only if you are able to point out whether you are supposed to be in that specific room that you've entered into, and whether it is the time for you to be in that room in that moment in time. So with persistence, you'll often ask yourself a lot of questions. A lot of questions also about where God is taking you. Is He taking you in the right direction? Are you moving at your own pace, or is this what God also wants for you? How long can I wait till God answers me? What is it that I'm doing wrong? Why should I have to wait this long? But in the pursuit of waiting for God to answer you, and you being consistent and you being persistent, yes, there's a lot of endurance that you're going to have to endure, but Those are the type of things that give you those medals that you achieve in life, for which when you look back, you are going to award yourself for everything that came with that baggage, meaning you are going to be able to honor whatever it is, whatever blessing, whatever gift, whatever goal that you achieve. You are going to give it the honor that it deserves, because you know the sweat, the cries, the tears, the happiness, the sacrifices that came with that. And you can only be able to see that once you've actually endured. And once you actually see that, you'll also be able to see how important it was for you to be able to go through these moments of not having this particular thing or things, because when you receive them, you receive them with grace, knowing that it is from God. It is time for God to give it to you, and nobody else can actually take it from you. Um, I've been going through a period, a season in my life where God has just been showing up. Even with everybody around me, man, it's been beautiful. It's been celebration after celebration. It's been amazing. It's been fruitful. And just knowing the story of every single person, I got to see why God had to place me in that period in their lives, because then I got to see the level of sacrifice, endurance, persistence it took for them to get there. And it also goes to show how God will not always give you what you want when you think you need it most. He will give you what is sufficient enough for you. And with persistence, yes, there will be a lot of you questioning yourself, but you need to trust in the Lord and where He's taking you. And when you are able to do that, you automatically take away expectations. I'm gonna keep saying this because I don't think we can emphasize it enough. But when you're on a walk with God, you need to take away the expectations. Try your best to live in the moment so that you can see why He has put you in that season. And it's going to try you a lot. I'm not going to lie. It's going to try you, but you need to remember why you are where you are right now in life. Here is some food for thought. Persistence comes with a lot of you knowing where you come from and where you are going. And for as long as you cannot visit the reason behind why it is that you are doing what you are doing, you will never have a clear view of where it is that you'd like to be. You cannot put yourself in a position in which you see the end goal if you are not willing to put in the work to reach that end goal. Nothing is ever given to us on a silver platter. And if you are on the end of praying for something and you're not putting action to it, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Because God helps those who helps themselves. So let's become more consistent in being persistent in our lives and endure whatever it is that the Lord has put in our lives, so that we can work to become those best beings that we know ourselves to be. At this point, you've reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell so that you can be alerted every time your girl uploads. From my end, I'm sending you many hugs, kisses, and love. Mwah.